Impeachment Part 2.
Really,
I wanted to be excited about it. It took a lot of energy for me to just muster.
Yeah, the Trump fatigue is real.
I'm exhausted. This podcast has made me addicted to the news in a way that I didn't want to happen.
I mean, as long as you're finding yourself not doom scrolling.
I'm not doom scrolling. Can you define doom scrolling for me?
I think that's if you you start to learn about, I don't know, like a genocide happening, and then you just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you spend 6 hours reading about it.
Okay, so yeah, that is what I've been doing.
Oh.
Welcome one and all to the Avant Inn podcast. I am one of your hosts, Topher Wagner.
And I'm your other host, Jerome Allen. So, it's day 3, yes, of the impeachment?
Today was day 2.
Oh, I'm in the future. It's day 2. Did you see the clip of, before we get further into impeachment, did you see the clip of the MyPillow guy?
Oh, yeah, Mike Lindell on Newsmax.
Mike Lindell, yeah. He was just going on and on about election fraud. The newscaster is like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about cancel culture. And he's like, it's been voter fraud. And he said, we're not talking about that. We're talking about cancel culture. And then the guy walks out on him and cancels him effectively. I thought that was high performance art.
Wow, I didn't even connect the meta idea of him canceling him by walking out of the interview.
Oh, yes.
Which I think the reason that he was reacting that way is because Newsmax was under a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit from Dominion Voting Systems.
Isn't everyone being sued right now? Who the old administration? Rudy Giuliani's got at least $3 billion in sue at this moment.
Yeah. Why would they bring Mike Lindell on? They had to have known that he was going to lose his mind.
He's going to go on and on and on and on and on and on.
What's that old saying? You can take the crack out of the man, but the man will still probably end up on Newsmax.
Oh, that saying. Yes. An old tale, old as time.
Well, it's weird. Trump derangement syndrome is supposed to apply to us, right? We have Trump derangement syndrome, but that seemed deranged, right?
Yes.
And that's a direct result of Trump's influence on this guy.
Well, what we have is just a sort of bundle of frustration and fatigue. What he has is a firecracker in his ass.
Right.
He's ready to go.
Somebody else got canceled recently. Not capital C, cancel culture canceled, but Lou Dobbs, his actual show got canceled.
Wait, what?
Lou Dobbs is off the air now.
Oh, I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure it's because Fox is getting sued, and they're we can't have this guy continue to just get us sued. It's costing us money. You're supposed to make us money. Lou Dobbs he's been deranged. He doesn't even make sense on there. And he's not even Fox News. He's Fox Business.
I think they just accepted that business cast or business shows are specialized, but that's interesting.
Nobody watched Fox Business for the longest time until this GameStop fiasco happened.
Yeah, we did get to talk about it.
We did not talk about it.
It happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
something like
that.
It's
still happening, I guess.
Well, according to r/Wall Street Bets, it's dead. But did you get any stocks?
I missed the boat. I am not an active participant in the stock market, and I probably should be.
Should you? There's a part of me that feels like we're told in this society that owning stock is a good way to take part in the system. But at the end of the day, it's just professionalized gambling. And that professionalized gambling is what props up the whole economy. Fucking wild.
That is wild. Because when you're gambling at a casino, you're only making either yourself money or that casino money.
Right.
But in this gambling, you're kind of, at a certain level, gambling everyone's money. Because you could just ruin the whole economy if something goes wrong.
So funny. One of the shows, the news shows, was saying, these people don't understand. These are pieces of businesses. This is not just a hot potato to play with. And it's like, I'm pretty sure the what you're talking about is the type of coke they do before they like buy stocks.
Right.
Like they definitely throw around stocks, like act like stockbrokers, like it's nothing.
Do you think there will be any like long-standing changes because of this thing that the Redditors did on Wall Street Bets?
Will the rich try to protect their pockets more? Will the hedge funds try to like make it that you have to buy in a certain amount before you can sell? More than likely.
Okay, I meant like positive change.
Oh, sorry. I jumped quickly on that.
You went straight for the doom scroll.
So the hedge fund Citadel Securities specifically lost $6 billion. $6 billion was lost. And now that Robinhood is basically seen as an arm of Citadel by trying to stop trading, they're going to have to answer in Congress in a few weeks. So so maybe something positive will come out of it. I can't pull it out of my ass on what that would be. Like, you would think the right thing would be that they would, in some format, limit, stop, or control like market manipulation of how we've seen it perpetuated or perpetrated by Goldman Sachs, by the Citadel, by other like large companies such as like Bank of America. That could happen.
Well,
I don't know if it'll pass Congress.
We do know if there's one thing that Congress excels at, it's holding people accountable.
Wouldn't it be great if Congress actually operated the way they told us as kids? You know, like they show up at the end of the episode and everything is fixed and the bad guy gets hauled off to some place. It would be nice.
Honestly, I would be satisfied with just like a TLC reality show of hedge fund managers having to like work a farm job.
I think you're pitching The Simple Life with Paris and her friend. Her friend was her Nicole Richie. That was her friend. Except with hedge funds. The Real Housewives of Hedge Fund Managers. I mean, probably some of those housewives are hedge fund.
Well, all of the Real Housewives of hedge fund managers will soon be the real ex-wives of hedge fund managers. They just lost $6 billion.
So, Trump's defense team for the impeachment.
I remember their names. Bruce Castor and David Shane.
What would you give them on a scale of 1 to 10? How good are they doing?
A 2? Is that fair?
I think you're being gracious. The amount of meandering and the amount of like, I swear they think they're trying to filibuster, but this is not like a filibuster. This is a trial.
It's been interesting to see every single person in that room, including the Republicans, compliment the House impeachment managers and how well they're doing.
They're so prepared. What do you mean? They should be.
I think even when one of Trump's lawyers was giving the opening statement, he even said, "Oh, we had to change around some of our plans because of how well the opposition did."
I think the Trump vacuum is so like it sucks you in so much that when they see someone doing nothing that is not mediocre or like sub-mediocre, then it's just like a wow. It's sort of like the Joe Biden effect as well. Like, wow, this is like, they're so prepared. No, they're doing what they should be doing. Oh, did you see this actually happened about 6 hours ago. The Georgia head prosecutor is they're taking criminal charges. They are investigating 4 criminal charges with the phone call where Trump was asking for votes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's a start. I think they've also said in their opening statement, because, okay, so let's be clear. The entire defense for Trump right now in this impeachment hearing, coming from the Republicans and from his legal defense team, is that it's just not constitutional for you to impeach someone who's no longer a sitting president.
Which we have to agree with the senator from Maryland, I want to say, who said like that would create a January exception, which is not in the Constitution.
Yes, and then you can also point to the William Belknap precedents back in like 1875. So beyond that, they feel like they don't have to actually be a unbiased juror here because they already think the entire process is a joke. And so that's why when the House managers are giving their speech, you see all these Republicans with their feet propped up on chairs, or they're doodling things, or just not paying attention, because they don't think that it's even worth giving this a second thought. But that doesn't change the fact that he could still face a lot of crimes outside of the office of presidency. And even his lawyer said in the thing, if you guys think that what he did was a true crime, then you should prosecute him. His defense lawyer said you guys should charge him if you think he's done something illegal, but you can't impeach him.
Yeah, I don't see him going to jail, like prison, but I do see him being in a very precarious financial situation. I don't know if his base will allow. They might start a Trump fund. They might start a Trump benefit show. You never know.
Or maybe he'll just go broke and he can star in season 1 of The Simple Life with the hedge fund managers. I actually really enjoyed Trump as a reality show host. If he could go back to that, and it's just him.
Ooh, that's hot. That's a spicy thing to say in today's climate.
Yeah, we'll cut it out.
So we had mentioned it, cancel culture, and I feel like it's something that's like brought up so much now. It's like what's the word? A buzzword, so to speak. But there was an article that NPR released that said, like, what does cancel culture mean to Republicans specifically? So just for a little lesson, the word cancel, like, was first used in the film New Jack City, 1991. And he said, and I quote, cancel that bitch. And it's a YouTuber, or was it a YouTuber? It was someone on a reality TV show. I want to say like Love and Hip Hop or something like that. Said like, yeah, I'm gonna cancel her. And he said, oh yeah, I got her from that movie New Jack City. And then it started trending on Twitter, and it has blossomed into cancel culture. But of course, you can also link it back to boycotting, of like canceling something means not using it, boycott, however you may have it. Now, the funny thing is, cancel culture is basically only used as a boogeyman in like Fox News, or used by Republicans in order to, or Republicans, or controversial people, or people who are problematic, are decry against it as if it's an organization, like the Evil League of Cancel or something like that. So I guess what I'm saying is I agree with the article that it's I've never seen it to be a major thing unless said celebrity. I don't think I know any celebrities who have been harmed by it in a negative way. Of course, it's nuanced. People who are listening may know of like specific incidences. I don't know any off the top of my head. I just know that it's sort of intertwined with the Me Too movement to some extent, and I think that the fact that it does hold people accountable is important.
It's certainly being overused now by the right. Like, they use it in almost every single impassioned speech that they give. They used it in the defense this week. When they're doing the exact same thing, like, why did they have to censor Liz Cheney because she didn't support the president fully? Like, aren't they canceling her because they disagree with her beliefs? I don't know. It's gotten to the point where they don't realize how much this is going to come back to bite them in the ass.
Right.
There's probably instances where people have decried cancel culture where maybe there was some merit to it, and we could talk case by case basis of like whether this person deserved to receive this sort of consequence for their actions or whatever. But just to say that this is a phenomenon, that the left is like perpetuating this nonstop cancel of people, all they're doing is just calling out people's views that they think are harmful. And if enough people don't think that what you did was bad, you're not going to be canceled. Right. If you have people who don't agree with that, then you're going to be fine. So I don't understand what the big fuss is.
I think it's interesting to I like what you say, because it's almost like it's just been created out of nowhere. It's just the fact that now that we have social media and you have the ability to directly respond to, comment on, reply to, retweet, whatever it is, to a celebrity, And now a public opinion can be quickly like seen or formed, versus even 20 years ago, that was just tabloids. And then it was more like gossip at the lunch table. Did you hear that Britney shaved her head versus like now it's like hashtag free Britney?
Kind of on the same note of cancel culture, there was a confirmation hearing for the Office of Management and Budget. And this woman, Nira Tandon, is being grilled by these senators because of all these tweets that she made and then deleted after her nomination.
Yes, as many have done.
And the Republicans are all excited about it because she didn't just talk shit about the Republicans. She also talked a lot of shit about the progressives. So then they bring Bernie Sanders on board and they're trying to hit her from both sides, saying you made all these personal attacks on Twitter. And there was a very funny exchange that happened that I suppose I could just play the clip.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I'm very disturbed about your personal comments about people. It's not just one or two. I think you deleted about 1,000 tweets. And it wasn't just about Republicans. And I don't mind disagreements in policy. I think that's great. I love the dialectic. But the comments were personal. I mean, you call Senator Sanders everything but an ignorant slut.
That is not true.
And
Senator.
when you said these things, did you mean them?
I wouldn't have said ignorant.
I want the record to reflect that I did not call Senator Sanders an ignorant slut. Okay?
Thank you. I don't know how I should take that, Senator Kennedy, but Senator Kane.
So one of the funniest things that may have ever happened on C-SPAN.
Yeah.
I love it. But two, like, do you think this falls into that same category of like anyone who gets nominated at this point, they're going to go through your tweets. They're going to go through your tweets.
Tweets are government records at this point.
Yeah.
Oddly enough. Like, do you think they have this like, like manila folder, just like going through them and highlighting them and like marking them and annotating like, oh, it's right here. It says, you thought pineapple on pizza was, and I quote, trash. Like, well, what are they gonna?
Well, in our case, they'd probably play the podcast, which would be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, and then they would have to hear you talking shit about Mike Pence,
Right.
President Pence. At
They'd
that
have
time.
to be like, in this episode, you called Ted Cruz a slimy scumbag dirt shit. And I'd have to be like, yep,
At
you
least
gonna
it
confirm
wasn't an
me?
ignorant slut.
And then they'll go, stamp, confirmed. Go right on ahead.
Get on in there, buddy.
I think that what everyone's trying to get back to is just like real substance arguments. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah, like let's just get to the policy.
Right.
The reason why people don't really but people don't talk about politics because politics can feel specialized. Like I've said this word twice now, but like it kind of is. Like, you talk about policy, you read into it, you learn about it. Versus like the last 4 years has been so sensationalized that we've like drifted away from actually talking about policy and legislation and law, which I love to talk about.
Right, but the media is going to recognize that nobody wants to click on an argument about your healthcare policy as much as they want to hear.
No, I want Mike Lindell getting walked out on.
Yeah, I want to see senators calling each other ignorant sluts. Like, that's what I'm clicking on.
I think the WWC, the World Wrestling Congress, is what I need.
So many wrestling references in our podcast.
So we got some good news. So Denver, being one of the cities that was piloting diverting funding away from just militarizing police, but actually funding having mental health workers and a social worker go to 911 calls when it has something to do with like poverty, homelessness, mental health, domestic violence, whatever it may be. And the STAR program has been going on for about 6 months in Denver. And so far, it's been quite successful in diverting away from violent encounters with the police. They were able to respond to 748 calls. No calls required the assistance of police, and no one was arrested. this is why cops need to be defunded.
But if you think about it, this program is actually quite pro-cop in the sense that
What would you tell?
the police don't want to be answering those kinds of calls anyways.
Yeah.
You know, they're not equipped for that. That's not what their training is for.
Right.
And now, if things can be handled by merely just a social worker or mental health professional, that means less police having to answer that and more police having to answer to truly dangerous situations.
Right.
So I can't see any way that someone could spin this to say that this is not supporting our men in blue when it's literally making their job easier and protecting the citizens that they are supposed to be protecting and serving. So it's a win-win for everyone.
It's a win-win for everyone. I mean, that was always sort of the greater conversation that was needing to be had last summer, is that cops do too much, are too violent, get too much money. And I mean, there may be some contention about the whatever, but at the end of the day, I agree with you. I think this is a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. I hope that we continue to shift away from this militarized police culture and towards something that's just a lot more empathetic and just a lot more understanding of the types of nuances that people go through when it comes to mental health crises. You know what I mean? Even if somebody is acting out violently towards themselves or others in a crisis that deals with their mental health, there are so many different ways to deal with that aside from hurting that person.
Yeah, I mean, there is a helplessness that one can feel when they see someone experiencing an episode on the street, or if they see a domestic violence episode or a confrontation happening on the street that, you know, doesn't really require a gun, but it just requires like proper mediation and intervention. And I mean, we have to change the culture from one that is punitive and a one that is focused on punishment to one that's focused on nurturing and showing compassion towards people with mental health issues. So it's good stuff.
You want to wrap up?
Yeah. I want to know what your opinion is on one last thing.
Sure.
You love to talk about this. So I recently, as in yesterday, as in 2 days ago actually, watched all of the show WandaVision on Disney Plus. And now I've subsequently started watching Captain America, and I've started from the beginning of the MCU universe. I still think the writing is cheesy. I still think the music is trash, but I'm just buying into the fact that it's campy.
Well, Jerome. Look who's a little normie over here. Jerome watches comic book movies now. You're just like the rest of us.
You're a Redditor bully right now.
Okay, boomer, just finally watching Captain America. No, I mean, I'm excited for you that you can catch up to this cultural moment, but I think that you're just, you're going to feel a little alienated, I think, for a while until you really get it.
The real twist is, what if it radicalizes me and I join the military? Then you won't be laughing. Then.
Holy shit!
Then you won't be laughing. You didn't think I was going to get you with that. Thank you for listening to the Avant Inn. Again, my name is Jerome Allen.
I'm Topher Wagner.
And our theme song comes from Lakey-inspired City of Angels. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a review on Apple Music, and go to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and comment on our posts, DM us, tell us what you think. Hey, even email us.
Okay, signing off. Make sure to look yourself in the mirror and give yourself a kiss.
Goodbye.